Welcome back, Truth Seeker. In the headlines this morning, country star Toby Keith dead at 62 from stomach cancer. And he reportedly passed at his home yesterday, the same day we got the cancer diagnosis for King Charles. And of course, one day after the Grammys. And when award ceremonies come around, we tend to see people in show business, especially the music business, pass. Now, making this all the more interesting, him dying one day after the Grammys, he's dead at 62 days before the CMT Music Awards, the Country Music Television Awards, which 2 years ago we saw the death of Naomi Judd one day before they took place. So if you're new here, Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. I want you to see where 62 fits in with sacrifice, and we'll talk about a few other things that stand out, including the cause of death, stomach cancer, and why it's so interesting that he passed on the day he did from stomach cancer. But the CMT Music Awards, as they're known, they'll be April 7th, 2024. And from his death on Monday, February 5th to April 7th is 62 days. And again, he's dead at age 62. If you're new here, Gematria is very simple. It's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. There are 4 base ciphers of the English language. ABC is 1, 2, 3 up to Z. The 26th letter is the most simple, straightforward cipher. There's also running the alphabetic order in reverse. And then there's both orders with numerology. And notice, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology, sacrifice equates to 62. Toby Keith also equates to 47, which is interesting because it's a lot like the date of the CMT Music Awards this year, April 7th, 47. You'll notice year after year, the people who die in connection to these award ceremonies have the numbers that correspond with the ceremony. With the Grammys, it was the 66th Grammys this year. Taylor Swift was the big winner. In the same cipher, Taylor Swift is 66. The rapper Killer Mike got arrested at the ceremonies. Killer Mike equals 66. Earl the Twirl, the star basketball player from Detroit, died at age 66, the day of the 66th Grammys. His name equals 66. Earl Cureton, same cipher. So we were just talking about this same cipher, an award ceremony, a ritual, just yesterday. And as I say this out loud, I realized I didn't look at what iteration of the Country Music TV Awards it's going to be this year. So we'll take a look at that after we go through the rest of this, because that could also be a piece of the puzzle. If you're new here, let me just pull up the calculator so you can see the 4 base ciphers. I want to put Country Music Television in there, and then I want to put Toby Keith's full name in there so you can see another correlation. In the most simple cipher, Country Music Television is 311, which is the 64th prime number. And Toby Keith's biological name is Toby Keith Covell. So he went by his first and his middle name, but his real last name is Covell. And I just want you to see that Toby Keith Covell has the 64. There's things that are interesting about his other names as well. You see how in the reverse cipher it's 71? Notice country music in that cipher, for example, 71. Toby Keith Covell, 206. We're going to talk about how he died from cancer, which has the 26, the reflection of 62. But in something known as Jewish gematria, sacrifice equals 206. You might recall one of the biggest deaths in 1994 was Kurt Cobain in Seattle. Seattle, Washington equals 94. Big number with that city, why they won their only rigged NFL championship in the 94th season. And then Russell Wilson's grandfather was dead at 94. And again, why Bill Gates, who's from there, why he got married on the first day of 94. And then his mom died in 94. And then his father eventually died at age 94. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the year that Kurt Cobain died, Bill Gates became a celebrity. And Kurt Cobain died 206 days before Bill Gates' birthday. And of course, Seattle's the 206 area code. The 172, it's important to the people who coded out the language in the calendar, the Jesuits, whose motto is Admerum de Gloriam. But anyway, just coming back to Toby Keith's death and everything that stands out about it. Again, passed Monday, February 5th. I realize he's from Clinton, Oklahoma. I'm going to have to look more into that town because, of course, Oklahoma had the big Jesuit bombing on April 19th, the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola becoming the first superior general. And the governor at the time, Keating, was Jesuit educated, just like the president. If you've never seen my work on the Oklahoma City bombing, it was synced up so nicely with those two Jesuits, as well as Joe Biden, who just passed the nation's first counterterrorism legislation. It was just the most Jesuit thing there ever was. And of course, we were at the Oklahoma City building 2 years ago on the anniversary, educating, and they had a nice big police presence come out for us to keep us away from the memorial because they didn't want us waking up the crowd. But yeah, I just thought, man, he's from Clinton, Oklahoma. I'm gonna have to look more into that town. Anyhow, Toby Keith, from his death to his upcoming birthday was 154 days. Should ring a bell because we just talked about it yesterday with the death of Earl Cureton, who died 154 days from his birthday. Ritual sacrifice equals 154 with the most standard cipher. And from his last birthday to his death was his 213th day of his age. We've talked about this number a good amount of times in death. Tupac Shakur put out his last album while he was alive on February 13th, 213, and then died 213 days later. And in something known as Satanic Gematria, death equals 213. And again, if you don't know what Satanic Gematria is, we only bring it up so often. I'm just going to put in the letter A. All Satanic Gematria is the alphabet begins at A is 36, B is 37, and it counts up from there. And this is interesting because if you write out Satanic Gematria, what the name of the cipher is, it equals 666. And of course, 666 is the 36th triangular number, which means if you had 1 through 36 together, it's 666. But as we've seen so many times in the world of show business, this 213 does show up with death, and it appears it gets its significance from this cipher. So finally, the day he died, February 5th, 2024, was a date with 51 numerology. And notice stomach cancer, 51. Dead from stomach cancer on the 51 date numerology. And in case you missed what we pointed out the day before with the Grammys, so let me close this cipher as well. We're making this big point about the 66th Grammys in this number pattern. So you had Killer Mike, 5166. He gets arrested. Taylor Swift, has a big showing, 5166 forwards and backwards. And then Earl Cureton is dead at 66, the day of the 66th Grammys. And again, in Detroit, which is a music town where Motown's from. And Taylor Swift had her first public singing appearance in Detroit. So go figure, a big sports star dies at 66, the day of the 66th Grammys. And again, just forwards and backwards, their name's the exact same. Then the day after the Grammys happens to have 51 date numerology, and you have a singer dead from stomach cancer. Let me look at the 2024 CMT Music Awards and see what number of the event it's going to be. It began in 67, huh? I wonder if they skipped any years or if it's gone every year. In 1990, it merged. So let's see what they count this as. Well, if it would have started in 67, I would think that this would be the 58th unless they skipped a year, because it's 57 years later, but you have to count 67. So it'd be the 58th. I want to make sure that's true. They don't do it like the Grammys where they just put the number up of the event. Yeah, they don't really throw the number out there. I'm going to assume it's the 58th, though. If it started in 67, 2024 would be the 58th. Okay, so here's the point about 58. Freemasonry's 58. Secret Society, of course, is 58. All of Freemasonry's secrets are in Solomon's Temple, 58. Rosicrucians, 58. You look into country music, you'll find that Freemasonry is a big part of it, right? And the Freemasonry thing has a component with him dying at 62 because just the word Mason alone in the most simple cipher is 62. So, and a lot of them dying on February 5th, 25. You see how just the word stomach alone is 25 and cancer is 26, and 26, the reflection is 62. One other thing about that, the word death does have that 25 connection also. Dead on 25. They had to point out that he was 6'4" in his death article. For people who are new here, once a month there's a date where the numerology has 64, 28, and 44 in it. 64, 28, 44 once a month. And we were just talking about how his full name, Toby Keith Covell, equals 64, right? So we call it the kill date. It comes up once a month, and every single month we're talking about weird celebrity deaths, young and old, and nearly in all of them they'll at least code in one of these numbers. Sometimes they'll all be coded in, but they'll always occur on this date numerology. And let me think. This month it's February 18th. Yeah, this month it'll be February 18th is the kill date. Next month it'll be March 17th. So next month it'll have the numerology as 64, 28, and 44. Plus it'll be on the 17th of the month. The month after that'll be April 16th, May 15th, June 14th. Falls on Trump's birthday this year. That's interesting. July 13th, August 12th, September 11th, October 10th, November 9th, December 8th. Those are all the kill dates this year. Comes up once a month where the numerology works out that way. So. Yeah, and I don't know enough about Toby Keith's music career to go any further than this, but year after year, the award ceremonies and the deaths line up. So this time, Toby Keith dead at 62 if you got here late, 62 days before the upcoming CMT Music Awards. They're on 4/7. Toby Keith, 47. And with regards to the Masons, the Masons study the 47th problem of Euclid, and you'll see this number all over the place in rituals. And it's the reason this nation, founded by a bunch of Masons, the nation's birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month. So stuff they don't teach you in slave school, but they should have. In a way, they almost did. In almost all of our classrooms when we were growing up, we had the border up along the ceiling with the A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It was all right in front of our face. Just it wasn't put together for us. It wasn't in your teacher's lesson plan. So, all right, we'll leave it there. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. And again, if you guys can go give RPM Trey a like and a sub and support what he's doing, his resist political manipulation movement, please do that. I felt bad because it was just like, that's sadly the way the world is. He starts his live stream up and he's got trolls in there harassing him. And it's like, see, there's not good people over in there saying, hey, thanks for the video. The trolls are there right away, derailing his video. And again, I mean, that's just the problem in this world. The evil ones, the tyrants and their little minions, they're the ones working the hardest for the world they want. Almost everybody else just on the slave ship, rowing to work, rowing to school, rowing to pay the bills, and they don't have time for much else. So, but if you do got some time, support the people doing the good work and help replicate their message. All right, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Till next time.